All right, welcome to my quarter one wrap up. I'm sorry that this is late, mainly for myself, because I like getting these out a little more timely, but also it's like I had wrap ups and then the Reddit bingo, and then the Hugos just like dropped out of nowhere. I never know when the Hugos are going to drop, and so things got delayed. So here I am, and I mean, it's fine. I do still like having these, I think, as quarter videos instead of seasonal, just because like how it helps my brain, even though I think it's worse for a filming schedule. Like, I think filming for March 20th is better than filming for the start of April in general. But here we are. We'll talk about basically my wrap-up briefly. If there are any relevant videos, I'll point you there. If there are videos you should look forward to, I will let you know, etc. And then tentatively, like, what's on the TBR. I don't know for sure if I'll get to them, but this is where we're at. First, we'll start with, alas, a DNF. For now, maybe forever, I don't know. It's the second time I'm like kind of pausing DNFing the series, and that's Rhaeria Revelations by Michael J. Sullivan. There's nothing bad about this, but I also wasn't hooked. And so the idea of reading, gosh, I don't even know how many books there are. There's at least 11, maybe it's 14 books in this world, without being hooked by the writing style or the world or the character voices was like a little unexciting to me. So I put it down, and I think part of it was also, if I was reading this series with Jashana and Roger, I'd have to read a book a month, and I definitely didn't like it enough to read a book a month. A book a quarter, maybe, and then I had another series I was reading that was already, like, in my work category, and I don't like to have too many things in my work category. So for now, never say never, I'm not reading this series. Things that I finished. I finished the Semiosis series. I don't have a video for the whole trilogy. I do have a Should You Reads for the first two, and you really can't apply everything I say to those first two to the third one. The only new thing about the third one is it takes place on Earth, and it's kind of about the sentient life of Pax and Earth, and also what Earth has been going through and the repercussions. In general, I think if you like the first two, you're going to like the third one. I just do enjoy when Sue Burke wants to, putz around in that world and make interesting thought experiments. They're really satisfying to me. I think they really think about things in a way that I find interesting, and with the depth and angles that, like, my brain likes to think about. It just asks questions I like to ask, and then she does the hard work of attempting to answer those questions, which is a reason I read science fiction. Another one I finished is The Crimson Moth, which I don't think I was expecting to read, period, ever, but I'm glad I did because it was fun. So I read this because my real-life friends, like my bridesmaids, we kind of have this casual romantic book club thing, and someone got to pick Heartless Hunter, and I'm like, yeah, people have been talking good shit about it. I'll give it a go. Let's try it out. I really liked it. And so then when the sequel came out in February, I read it as soon as I could get it from the library, and yeah, it was a solid time. I think book 1 and 2 are of equal quality. Depending on the tropes you like, you're gonna like one more than the other. Yeah, I thought it was a good time. And then the big finisher is I finished Verkos like the last day of March. Maybe the second to last day of March. I don't even know. I finished Verkos. And yes, I have notes in front of me for a Should You Read. Will that video be up by the time this video is up? I do not know. I don't know. I don't know what my scheduling plan is going to be because I have to start thinking about bulk filming for my trip in May and stuff like that. I can tell you that within the next quarter, there will be a video for the Verkos Should You Read. I just don't know where it is. And if you're someone who's like, but I want to know where to start now, I do just always say start with Shards of Honor. You do not have to. You can do whatever you want, but if you want this person's opinion, read Shards of Honor and Barriar because they're like a complete duology, and then you can go from there. If you're in my Discord, you can see the order we have been reading them along in. So those are, in terms of like reading order questions, that's what I have for that. Yeah, that's Verkos is like one of my favorite freaking series of all time at this point. Like, oh my god. Which like kind of makes sense, right? Like, how do you read like 16 odd some books, even if they're relatively short, in 2 years, if you don't love the thing, Yeah, and like when I was writing out my notes for it, I was just like, yeah, this is so good. It does all these things, and I take it for granted that it does all these things, and it does it so thoughtfully and so cool, and it's, in some ways it's so ambitious and ahead of its time, and even when it's of its time and stumbles, it's just like, I love Verkos and we're already starting to try and figure out what we're going to read by Bejeweled next in the Discord. I'm leaning towards World of Five Gods just because, like, I want to get to the Pendrick and Desdemona novellas. So if you want any say in the potential order we might go in, you can go over there. I think tentatively we might do I think we're going to do maybe publication order for the novels or something. I don't know. We have a vague idea about what we might be doing, and I don't know when we're starting that, because I kind of also I need a break. I still just feel so like verbose again. How am I supposed to exist? And it's not like I get the same audio narrator. I think it's a different one, which is a whole other can of worms at how attached I got to this one specific audio narrator who I don't actually even think is like very good. I just got very attached. So yeah. Things that I caught up with. The Empyrean, which is the Fourth Wing series, which why we just don't call it the Fourth Wing series is silly to me. Like Empyrean. Does anyone really even remember what that means? I think it's just like the name of the country. I don't even really know. Maybe I should, but world building is not why I read this series. I do have a series spoiler-free review for it. So if you're someone like me who doesn't usually read new adult or fantasy romance, and you want to know if you might have a similar fun experience that I'm having, because I have fun. I don't have fun because it's great, like in terms of craft, but there are some things that I think we undersell in the craft of what it does because it takes craft to be this entertaining. So anyways, so I do have a spoiler-free video on that. I had fun. And then the one that I wasn't expecting to, but my UK bookish friends, we started our little quarterly book club again, and we read The Immortality Thief. So this is part of the Kystrom Chronicles, and its newest book came out in February. So I read both the first and second book in the first quarter of the year, which has me caught up. And this is truly an under-the-radar, like mid-weight adventure science fiction. Like if you're someone who is scared of science fiction, I'd say you could read this. Like I think it's a very good jumping in point. If you're someone who likes exploring new places, I think it's very enjoyable. So essentially, I think this was really under the radar, really not marketed enough, and like the sequel hasn't been marketed at all. My big caveat is the audiobook narrators are not the same for the first two. Like the first one, I really like. The second one is fine, but they're very different. But the voice of our main character, Sean, is phenomenal. It's very voicey. He's, I think, a very funny, neurodivergent himbo. Like, he's fantastic. First book is more sci-fi horror in an isolated spaceship. The second book is you get to travel a lot more. It's a little more heisty driven in terms of its tropes. And then I started a few things. So I did finish Gardens of the Moon, which was my goal for the first quarter. Read Gardens of the Moon. Did it. And we're going to do live shows for that with Roger and Stephanie, who I have cajoled into joining me on my very long Malazan journey. I read The Alliance, so Ocean's Gadori. Very good. Had a great time with that. I read The Wolf, which is the first book in the Under the Northern Sky, which I liked, but I don't know if I liked it enough to continue, especially now that time has gone by and I think about what I want to prioritize next. I read the first book in Annihilation, which I didn't love, but I am going to continue because it's our buddy read for my Patreon, and we're supposed to get to, I think, Authority next month. And then I have Love Medicine, the first book in the Love Medicine series by Louise Erdrich. So that's basically all the stuff that I started, that I didn't catch up with, that I didn't finish, that I could continue. So let's just talk about what shall I continue in this coming quarter. Like I said, I don't think I'm going to read The Spider. I don't think I'm in the mood for that, as I have 2.5 months left of the quarter. I just don't see myself wanting to put that on a TBR. And then I have the 3 that I do think I want to continue, and 2 of them, like, I already kind of have started or plans for, and the other one I know I will have plans for, so I feel good putting them here. One is Dead House Gates. I have started Dead House Gates. I just don't talk about it in my Friday reads because I don't think it's useful for you to hear for 12 weeks that I'm still continuing Dead House Gates, because I just read it really slow. I'm also going to be reading A Drop of Corruption, if not this month, then next month, by Robert Jackson Bennett, which is the sequel to The Tainted Cup. And then Annihilation sequel Authority is our buddy read for next month, so I know for sure I'm going to get to it then. I thought about putting the sequel to Ocean's Gadori here because I do have an arc, but I kind of really love the audiobooks, so part of me wants to wait for release and get the audiobook. I haven't committed yet. And then I have a couple things that I tentatively am going to start. One for sure. Like, a lot of these are like tentative if I'm in the mood. But one is for sure, and that is the first book in His Dark Materials. I'm going to get a reread in because a bunch of my friends are going to be reading it, and I've been in the mood. I'll finally read the UK publication version, which isn't that different from the US, but there are differences. And it's the Folio Society that my friends kindly gifted to me when I defended and got my PhD, so that'll be awesome. And then there's a second book in a sci-fi series. So the first book's called The Stars Undying, that I haven't heard like amazing reviews about, but I was given the opportunity to get the second book and the first book, like both those arcs. So I would like to try that sci-fi series. It's just in my perpetual hope of finding sci-fi series that I missed that I'm going to love. I wanted to try that out. And then I'm probably actually for sure reading this. I just drag my feet on it. I don't know why. I like Sarah Beth Durst. I liked Sarah Beth Durst before it was cool to like Sarah Beth Durst. And so The Spell Shop is like a book that I'm terrified of because it's cozy. Like, I'm so scared of it. But I have its companion sequel, so I should read the first one. And my friends who do the romance book club are reading this, so I just need to get to it. And then something I'm excited for, but like I keep putting out on TBR, so like when will it happen? What will be the impetus that gets me here? And that's going to be Paladin's Grace by T. Kingfisher. So I guess this could be continuing in the world of the White Rat, but then it's also its own subset of like the Saint and Steel series, I think. And the UK covers are so pretty, and I think about buying them from Blackwell all the time, but I should see if I like them first. So yeah, that's my tentative Q2 series TBR and what I've gotten up to this year. I'm really happy that already I have finished 3 series. Like, I think that's pretty good. And like being caught up and stuff feels nice. So yeah, how have your series reading been doing? Do you keep track of anything? Is it more just as you feel it, the vibes? And if you just want to leave an emoji to let me know you're here, I'll leave a butterfly or moth for the Crimson Moth. And otherwise, like if you liked it, subscribe if you want to, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.